Now, Steve, as we transition to talking about the Notre Dame defense against the Clemson offense, this is the strength-on-strength matchup. This is the
Right.
game where you say Clemson is very good on defense, but they're elite on offense. Even without Trevor Lawrence, this is an elite offense. Notre Dame, however, has been an elite defense. And we could talk about, and we talked earlier about how Notre Dame hasn't really played a great team this year. They have played an outstanding offense. And if I'd have told you before the season that Notre Dame would score 12 points against Louisville, I bet you'd be thinking, wow, they're going to lose at home to Louisville because you
Right.
can't beat Louisville with 12 points. Well, that's what Notre Dame did, and this is a defense that's held 3 of their last 4 opponents offensively to under 10 points because obviously they gave up 13 total points to Georgia Tech, but only 6 of them were against the Notre Dame defense. So this is good on good, right? And this is the exciting matchup. When you look at this from a Notre Dame standpoint, it's not talking about if they hold Clemson under 10 points, then Clark Lee needs to automatically get hired somewhere as head coach. I mean,
Right.
or Notre Dame needs to walk in and give him a $2 million pay raise on Monday.
Right.
Right? This is about keeping the points down into the late teens or into the 20s to where now your offense has a chance to make enough plays to win. So what are the keys to the Notre Dame defense being able to play well enough that they can keep this explosive offense that's averaging 46 points a game down enough to where the offense can maybe win it at the end?
Well, the key, it starts with arguably the best running back in college football, Travis Etienne. He's been there for several years. He's a very durable, very versatile running back, both in the run game and the pass game. And they really base their whole offense off of establishing him every time. So that's got to be the focal point. And you said it right, Brian. Our strength is our defense. Their strength is their offense. And it's going to be incredible to watch how these teams match up. Losing Trevor Lawrence and having DJ Uiagalelei, we're going to just call him DJ, make it easy from this point forward. But what an incredible specimen this kid is. I was able to watch him. He's from Southern California, went to Bosco High School out here in the same league that I grew up playing in the Trinity League out here in Southern California. He was a man among boys, and he played really well last week, kept his poise and brought his team back against Boston College after being down 18 points. He is legit. I mean, he is a big-time 5-star guy, and he's going to be playing at the next level on Sundays, barring injury for sure. So those are the 2 key guys. You got to stop Travis Etienne. If you shut him down, which is going to be the focus of our defense, I'm sure, put the pressure on the freshman quarterback and see if he can make plays in the passing game. And the 2 areas to get specific that I think we really need to look at are the areas that we're best at and Clemson is best at on offense, we're best at on defense. 3rd down and red zone. Those are the 2 areas where both teams are really, really good, both top 20 in both of those statistical comparisons. So who's going to win that matchup? The way that Notre Dame wins that matchup is by shutting down Travis Etienne, keeping Clemson in 2nd and 3rd and long situations where you can peel back ears and try to get some pressure or do some exotic things defensively on 3rd down. And those are things that are going to confuse DJ, the young quarterback for Clemson. If you get him in a long 3rd and long situation, you throw some funky little looks at him, that will get him thinking and take away from his natural ability to make plays. And then also, if you can coax him into a mistake or 2 in the red zone, if he can cough the ball up either by holding a little bit too long and allowing pressure to get to him or throwing a ball carelessly into coverage in the red zone, taking points off the board, that's how we're going to shut this team down. That's how our defense is going to be able, I think, to establish supremacy in this ball game, creating turnovers and keeping Clemson in 3rd and long situations.
Now, Steve, on kind of building on that point, when you look back at this matchup in 2018, I thought Notre Dame did a great job against the Clemson defense with the exception of 5 plays. And if you look at that game, they did a really good job in the red zone. They did a really good job.
The Clemson offense, right?
The Clemson offense, yeah, Notre Dame defense against the Clemson offense. And the key, to your point, is to be good in the red zone, you have to keep them from ripping off those big explosive plays, which really hurt Notre Dame in 2018. Clemson didn't really consistently move the ball up and down the field. They had 3 really long touchdowns that were the difference in that game. So I think that's another key is limiting those big plays, which again dives into you have to keep Travis Etienne from being the primary driver of those big plays, and I think you have to make DJ uncomfortable because I thought look, we knew you saw him in high school, I saw him at All-Star games, I saw highlight tapes. We knew he was big, we knew he was athletic, we knew he had a great arm. The thing that impressed me the most, you mentioned the word poise. After BC goes right down the field and scores, he comes back, goes 3 of 3. They bring an edge blitz. He just kind of lofts it over the blitzer's head, hits ETN, 35-yard touchdown. I thought his calm and his poise, you come out at halftime, you're down 15 points, no pressure, no rushing, no trying to win it all in the next drive. He just methodically led him down the field, made the throws he needed to make. That's the thing that impressed me the most. It wasn't 6'5", it wasn't 250, it wasn't athletic, it wasn't rock and arm. It was just the calm.
Although all that is nice, all that other stuff is nice.
It's great, but if you have all that, I mean, you've seen this in the NFL. I know you've seen those big. I think of Jim Druckenmiller, big, powerful arm, but it takes a lot more than a big, powerful arm to be a great quarterback. And to see him do that in his first start was something that said, okay, we saw that from Trevor Lawrence, right?
He looked from the best. He looked like he's been there before. He looked like he expected to be successful, that he wasn't concerned at all. You summarized it very well, and that is something that you can't coach. You either got that or you don't. That's what's going to make him special, and he's already starting to show it. He showed it in his first game, and I guarantee you, Dabo Swinney and that staff, that whole Clemson program knows what they have with this young quarterback. Still, he's not Trevor Lawrence yet, but they know they've got the successor to Trevor Lawrence, and they're going to be just fine for the next several years.
Now, what are some things – because I think the matchup that I'm most looking forward to in this game is not even really a personnel matchup, although I'm really excited to see Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah and Kyle Hamilton matched up in space against Travis Etienne, but it's Clark Lee against Tony Elliott. And what are some things – if you're in the office with Clark Lee, what are some things you guys are talking about doing to DJ from a structure standpoint, from a coverage standpoint? What are the looks you're trying to show him to create some level of I think the thing you want to do is you want to get him thinking and not reacting. What are you doing for Notre Dame to get that done?
Yeah, you the best word you used earlier was you want to make him uncomfortable. You want to make sure that he doesn't feel like he knows what's coming. And the advantage that we have there is that we've got a very veteran, experienced group of players on that side of the ball that do know what they're doing, that do know this system, that fit very well into what Clark Lee wants to do. So the keys, and to go back and reemphasize, it really is shutting down Travis Etienne on first down. Or if they decide to throw the ball on first down, they're going to make a few plays. You can't give up the big plays. If they're going to go play action hard on first down and they want to hit a tight end on a crossing route off a bootleg action, or if they hit a comeback on the outside for 12, 15 yards, you can live with that. That's okay. They're going to make those plays. They're a great team. So understand you're going to give up those plays once in a while. In general, you've got to try to have success on first down. Keep those runs either at negative yards, no yards, or 1 to 2 yards at most, where they're looking at 2nd and 7+. And then they have to think about it. Now you're starting to get a little bit more comfortable defensively where you're dictating to them. And that's when you get 2nd and long, 3rd and long. You start disguising coverages. You start bringing pressure from, showing it on one side, bringing it on the other, where you get that young quarterback looking around trying to figure where that pressure's coming from. And that's where, even in their run game, they run that read option. You've got to change the looks up on him so he doesn't know who his option man is going to be or where that support is coming from to force that pitch or to take the quarterback out of the play. However you want to do it, you've just got to have some looks that he's not really sure about what's coming. And I think Clark Lee will do that. He's got the playbook to go to. He's got the type of personnel and the experience to really mess with a young quarterback.
Well, Steve, we've talked matchups, we've talked keys to victory, we've talked how I think these teams actually stack up. This is the most competitive roster I think Notre Dame has had since 2015 when you look at top players against top players. But it's gotta play itself out on Saturday. How do you think this game will or should play out on Saturday night?
Man, you're going to put me on the spot here.
I'm not going to make you do a prediction.
Not a prediction. I know. I get it. You know, I have a hard time predicting a win. And I'm putting my analyst hat on. I'm not, as a Notre Dame fan, I always want the Irish to come out on top, and I always believe they can. But when I look at it, even with Trevor Lawrence out and with the different pieces of the puzzle that Clemson is missing injury-wise, I just think the expectation in not having the home field advantage, even though we are playing at home, not having that crowd, the atmosphere, the big game mentality and enthusiasm. I think if we had a sold-out stadium and we could have that 12th man impact, I would feel comfortable saying I think Notre Dame is going to win this game. But this game lined up in a fairly empty Notre Dame stadium, I just think Clemson's experience is going to show itself, and I think Clemson wins in a close game that Notre Dame has a chance to win at the end. And if it comes down to that, we're going to see what Ian Book is made of. He's going to have to make a few big plays throughout the course of this game, and specifically at the end of the game if we want to win this ball game. And I hope he can do it. I know he can. I hope he does, because he deserves it. And Notre Dame, for God's sakes, Notre Dame deserves a big win one of these days. And I think to get it tomorrow would be fantastic.
This is certainly a narrative-changing type of game for Notre Dame, no question about it. So that is going to do it for Steve Beuerlein. I'm Brian Driscoll. Make sure you stay locked into irishbreakdown.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check out our podcast. We have a lot of analysis regarding this Notre Dame versus Clemson matchup, and, of course, more to come as we go deeper and deeper into the day of Saturday. This is a tremendous opportunity for Notre Dame to go out and get a narrative-changing win. So, Steve, thanks for joining us, and look forward to talking to you next week.
Go Irish.